Just
waiting.
we'll just move back and forth like this, and then we'll go
In
live.
the beanie, get some breath going.
There you go. A deep breathing, because the Lord knows I need it. Because
I, this
life
is not killed anyone yet.
has been trying to hurt me, and I'll be like, stop it, because y'all don't know what you're messing with here.
No, oh, don't.
Just
Do
stop your
not
madness.
unleash the Kraken on them.
He's the Kraken. Oh.
Unleash the Kraken.
It's like they don't know.
No.
Wait till they know.
Most people are like, oh, you're so nice, Maddie. I'm like, you haven't crossed me. Don't cross me.
Exactly. And see,
I'm great until you fuck with me, and then it's done.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So many people are so disillusioned by this. It's like, you're so nice. Yes, I am very nice. I'm nice till I'm not nice anymore.
Yeah. You're like, oh, okay.
Okay, we won't mess with that.
It's
I'm like, yeah,
power.
no.
People like blindsides them. This is how you crush your enemies.
Yeah.
It's true.
Because they don't know. They're like, oh, she's just so sweet and so kind. And so, and it's like, be careful. Just be careful. Don't play too much.
Just a little warning. You just listen. That's all.
I'm being here with you. I'm being here with you. I just got him. Oh, there it is.
Go. Go play, puppies. Go. Go. Where's your toy? Go get your kale. Where's your kale? Go get it. Get your kale. Good boy. He has a little stuffed toy that's a kale leaf.
And literal kale leaf?
Yeah, it says kale, yeah, on it. And he likes to hump it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You want that? Hell yeah.
Good boy.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. That is ridiculous.
Do you have little critters around your place?
I have no critters. I had a critter before I left, and I had to leave her home, Caroline, my little pup. And then I left it with someone who, I mean, she like moved on up. I was like, just a suburb house. Right. She moved on up. That they were like, the truck came to bathe her every week and all this other hoo-ha. Oh, I got her nice treats. And I loved her.
And she says, "No, I'm a bougie bitch."
She got all bougie, got a bath every week from inside a truck. Yeah. I was like, all right, heifer. Go ahead and live your life.
Holy cow.
Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna just chill out. There's another, they're coming now. I got a message for one who's trying to rev up his computer. I'm like, okay, not a problem. Rev it up. No, I have, like I said, I have one guy who can't come, and another guy actually who can't come because he did not check. He didn't sync schedules properly. I'll just put it. I'm not even going to blast them. He did not sync his schedule properly with the other female in the home. So
foolish person.
Foolish, very foolish.
And cranking up his computer. Is it some steampunk? He's on my bicycle, juicing up his computer, getting it revved up. My God.
It's coming now. Coming in hot.
Yeah, not hot.
No, he's the best. He's a really good guy. He's funny.
Good, I like funny. I like to laugh.
Oh, this is him. This is the dude. This is the dude right here in his 𝐒𝐞𝐞𝐜. I'm just, we won't even look at his 𝐒𝐞𝐞𝐜, but it's so cool to see. I kept thinking about it. I was like thinking of all the people that we knew from high school, can't even say high school, elementary school.
Right, I was going to say, we go back a little further.
You go back a little further than that. Elementary school. And I still, and now even at this point, we still, I think, yeah, I still, tons of them I still talk to now who are like, you're where? Where do you
Yeah, when I
live?
figured it out, I was like, wait, St. Albans?
What happened?
A big leap. That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, but it's cool. But believe
Yeah.
me, you guys have a lot more going on there that we have on here right now. We're just like waiting for the world to open. Well, not even the world. We're just waiting for here to open.
Yeah,
Just waiting here.
how's, oh, there you go. He's
There we
here.
go. Hi.
Yay! And look at that crisp, clean pic of this
Finally, yes.
beautiful dark-haired man.
Nice to see you.
You too. How are you?
I'm good. A little frustrated by technical issues, but otherwise good.
But you did it. You made it. You're here.
Find it.
There you go. That's all that matters. That's all. I'm gonna start up everything. This is Zooming in Comfort, and I am Jermaine. I'm gonna be your host. I'm always your host. I don't even know why I said that. And I started this channel more so for a little bit for myself to see people I haven't seen because of this whole pandemic, and no one can go out and meet anybody, and not only here in Sweden, but it's like, I can even talk to people that are not in Sweden, like, in the United States, where all my other peoples are at. So I decided to do this, and it also helps everybody kind of cross over and bridge a gap. You meet new people, you start talking about different things, and I think that is like the best thing when it comes to this Zoom in Conference. So just sit back and relax. Ryan has his orange juice, and that's what we're going to call it.
Sparkling water, you can say.
I was going to say with my Campari, I was like, nah, they're going to think I'm an alky. No, it's okay.
You are grown. You are a grown woman.
I am more than grown.
You are grown. Let me introduce to you Ryan Bussell. He is a famous Swedish comedian here.
Definitely most famous here.
I said here.
Yeah.
Great content creator, really funny guy, warm person. I met him during the comedy stinks here, where I knew a bunch of comedians, and I also met Ryan in that same bunch, and he's been making me laugh ever since. Also, he's a really sweet guy. Let's support Ryan.
Thank you for the intro. Very nice.
And here we have, this is going to be something. And I have to use the proper name, Madigan. I have known her since elementary school. Now we're just going to keep that right there, 4th grade.
Oh, yo.
No, we're not. We're not old. Stop it. Anyway. And she has a business called Maddie's Munchies, and that's up in Ithaca. You have that there. Yes. And it's whole food-based meal delivery service. They specialize in nutrient-dense meals to keep the body's immune system running at top-notch function. I need that. I need some stuff that will do that, please. And all the information that for these guys are down in the description. Unfortunately, David couldn't be with us. David Weaver, he's another comedian, and another comedian that was supposed to be with us, Ben. He also had other responsibilities that he realized their schedules clashed. So they're not going to be here, but that's okay. They will miss the fun. We have Ryan.
No pressure.
No pressure.
He's really talking you up, Ryan. You better deliver.
I know. I think the pressure just end now before I say anything. Why ruin it?
No. Oh, wait. I might have another person that's coming in that I kind of got, and they just reminded me just now. So this is a good thing, actually. I'm actually very happy. But how are you guys doing, and what's going on?
There's everything and nothing is going on. Everything and nothing. I can't go out to a restaurant. Well, I can. Technically, in New York State, we've relaxed the mask rules.
Yeah.
I'm a little freaked out. I got to be honest.
That was something I wanted to ask about, because I heard about, like, since the immunizations are going around and everyone's getting vaccinated, and the CDC was like, you don't have to wear your mask if you've been vaccinated. And I'm like, but what about the people who haven't?
There's a bunch of fools up here who will lie, but they didn't figure that. No. They're like, oh, everyone will do it on the honor system. I'm like, have you met Americans? No.
Hey.
So yeah, Handy Andy Cuomo, our governor, decided to relax the mask rules a little bit, but I still will not go in a crowded public place without a mask.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Abundance of caution. That's all. I'm vaccinated. I'm juiced up good.
Hey, Montserrat is here. Okay, I'm gonna give her a quick introduction. Montserrat, I met her when she was here in Stockholm. Can you hear me? Can I hear you? You have to speak.
Hear you.
Okay, good. We hung out. It was you were like here like 2-3 years through the embassy.
Yeah, I just left a year ago.
Just left a year ago.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, hi, bye, you know. And now you're in California.
Yep, that's right. I have 2 screaming kids in the back. So
at 9-10 in the morning, you go, girl. I'm so glad you're here.
That's why I look like this. So sorry.
I
roll out of bed. I'm like,
because I looked at it, was like, I'm here. I'm like, all right. I'm so glad that you're here. We had just gotten really started. Madigan was talking about all the the regulations being laxed in New York.
That's where you're at, New York.
Yeah, she's in New York.
It's a little scary. It's a little scary, I gotta tell you. But honestly, mostly I live in Ithaca, New York, which is right near Cornell University. So we have a very large populace of educated, woke people. So many people are wearing their masks. And then you have the yahoos who are like, yeah, I don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's okay, Mom. I feel sorry for those kids. You could put it on. Okay, never mind. I was going to tell you.
Listen, I raised 2 screaming mimes, so I understand.
But here, I mean, Ryan can describe here.
Yeah, tell me what's going on.
What are you doing, Ryan? Are you still wearing a mask? Not wearing a mask? Choosing when to wear a mask? What are you doing?
I choose when. I wear them on I go on the train.
Yeah.
One of the few on the train. Because actually I started working recently a few months ago. Because I haven't been working or doing anything for a long time.
Right.
So now I started going to Stockholm. So I'll wear a mask when I go on the train. But really, I mean, honestly, the masks, they really just protect other people from you. Like it doesn't protect you from other people. So I wear it more it's more of a courtesy.
Okay. I see it as leading by example also. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't know who's vaccinated, you don't know who is vaccinated. So I think the more people that wear masks, it becomes almost a social protocol or a social contract. If I will be near you, I will make sure that I will keep you safe. Mm-hmm. So it's a really interesting evolution in social dynamics. I really like it. It's fascinating.
I don't know why I wear that darn thing. Well, okay. I mean, I think I mean, I'm also worried for that common courtesy thing, but there were so many people who didn't wear a mask, especially when I got on the trains, because the trains got really, really crowded at times. And it was like, I'm going to put on the mask. It was just that kind of feeling, because we having to been so enclosed for the last 15 months, and all of a sudden to be on a crowded train or something that's filled with people, it was like, I just want a shield, even if it's them, me, you know, I'm protecting myself from them or vice versa. It's like, it's a little shield, you know, I figure it'll help in some way, shape or form.
You think it helps?
But how is it yeah, exactly. But how is it in California?
So I was just gonna say that I'm surprised. I mean, it's mandatory everywhere we go. Mm-hmm. If you want to go inside a store, what's that sound? Mommy's on a phone call, and you don't have a mask, they don't let you in. Which I personally think it's good, right? And I'm so surprised how people complain about it everywhere you go. Mm-hmm. Oh, we have to wear a mask. Oh, and sometimes like I go to a gym. And people complain there, and I'm like, it's not only about you, it's about the other, and people just don't see it that way, because they're not in the risk group, then they don't care. And I'm just there like, seriously? And they complain, oh, the government has to tell us what to do. I'm like, yes, we need someone like I don't know. For me personally, doesn't make sense how much people complain. They don't see the big picture. They just think about themselves. But it's still mandatory here everywhere.
It's still mandatory there. See, we have here it's pretty we haven't, none of the rules have actually really lightened up yet. But let me just bring in Douglas. Hello, Doug. Can you hear me? I can't hear you because you're on mute. Unmute yourself, so at least I know I got.
I was trying to be respectful, but hi.
This is Doug Lansky. He is a speaker. He does TED Talks, and he does them very well. Wow. I don't know exactly all the subjects that he does them on, but he will have a long discussion, no, not a long, but he will have a brief discussion on those things, as I want to know more about what you do for work, Doug.
Is it my turn? I feel like I just got here. I should just be listening.
No, not this point. I was saying when we go back around, you know.
I'm sorry I'm late. My teenage 16-year-old daughter decided she actually wanted to have a conversation with me, which happens almost never. So I didn't want to miss that. So anyway, I do speaking more virtual these days. So I only have to half get dressed. And they pay me half as much. So it's about, makes sense, I suppose. It's mostly like sustainable travel stuff in general. And when I say sustainable, a lot of people think it means environmentally sustainable, but it's not necessarily that, because most of what we do on this planet is not terribly sustainable. So it can just mean having too many tourists in one spot, building too many hotels, whatever we seem to get. We just have a habit in life. Whenever we think something's good, we do too much of it. And it carries over to tourism as well. So that's the nutshell version. Does that give you, do you want more?
Yeah, that actually says a lot, because I didn't know exactly all of what every talk was about in general, but that's good. That is very good explanation in a nutshell.
I have my shirt on for you to look. I got my.
You have your shirt on?
My Just Be You. I'm not gay, but I am wearing a unicorn t-shirt.
Hey, unicorns are special. You're special. That just shows that you're special. That's what it says right there.
I just got inspired by the Eurovision last night. Felt like I had.
Wow. Yeah, that's gonna be that.
I watched the last 5 minutes. I can't sit through a whole thing. That's just
chicken.
Too much. That's too painful.
Chicken. No, but how are you regarding what we were just talking about with wearing a mask and not wearing a mask? How do you run your world?
As a super spreader, I would have to say that I was one of these people that brought it back early from the Alps and I was sick in like February, I think, of last year. So I was like the first one of everyone I knew that got COVID. I like to think of myself as an early adopter. No, so once I had it, I had antibodies and I wasn't very scared anymore. So just like the people who have vaccinations who don't feel very scared these days, I also didn't feel very scared. So I was running around mask-free and didn't give a shit. And I was traveling to Fuerteventura all the time, and I was eating in restaurants and going to all sorts of stuff. And it was as if almost Corona hadn't happened in a way for me. And I probably should have been more careful. But what can I say? I'm bad. That was a bad boy.
Do you feel very invincible at this point?
Do I feel now? I'm getting my first shot in 2 days, but and I took care of. I was dating someone earlier this year, and she got Corona, and I took care of her, and so I wasn't careful, and I was with her all the time, and I got a little bit of a cold after that, and I thought maybe that could have been a second version, a light version of. Usually they say if you've got antibodies, even a little left, the second time you get it, if you get it a second time, it's most likely to be a more mild version. And the first time I got it was really mild as well. So it seemed like I could have gotten it again. I don't know. But I don't know. Did you guys, I don't know what you've already said because I came late to the discussion, but I think the most interesting thing is like the Swedish version of 60 Minutes did a really, really interesting piece on, it's called a Vetenskapsvärld. That one that's like the technology world of, it's sort of like that. But they talked about the price of Corona. So essentially, and this is what I think has been left out of the discussion, which has been that they started by talking about what happened in Uganda, which was the politicians were really old and the population's super young. And so the politicians got scared shitless and they shut down the whole society, shut all the stores, all the restaurants, and people started to just die of hunger. And they're like, oh, wait a second. Okay, we can't just kill everybody so that they don't die of Corona. And that's a little bit of a version and that what we've done. So like, for example, if you have to close an oncology wing, oh, there's a cute one. Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm gonna do my web magic. Ready?
Oh Lord.
Whoa. See, it goes out here.
Wait.
Whoa. Anyway.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like if they close an oncology wing to make room for more hospital beds for corona patients, but then the cancer patients die and you've saved the corona patients and it's plus minus zero, then like you have, how do you, if you're only checking on corona deaths, then it's going to look good. But if you're looking at total deaths, and so the thing that happened was they talked to these professors at the hospitals and they said, yeah, here at the cardiology clinic, we're seeing exactly half as many people coming in for those little tiny heart attacks that people have that we usually give them beta blockers. And since they didn't come in because they were scared of coming to the hospital, that the next time is going to probably kill them because they never got meds. So we're going to see a rise in heart attacks. And same thing with oncology. People were scared to go in for mammograms or for skin cancer detections when they got a little tiny spot that they maybe normally would have checked out, but that they didn't bother because they were scared of the hospital. They're going to have it, some of them will have it advanced so far that they can't recover from it that they ordinarily would have. So how do we calculate that and calculate domestic violence and calculate depression and anxiety and sleep deprivation that have come, all these horrible things that have kind of come out of it as side effects, that those have a cost, but they're harder to measure, especially in the near term, as corona deaths. So although everyone's like to look at corona death figures and case studies, this TV show was saying, don't we need to take a more holistic view of total health of the country and total deaths of the country to know that we didn't treat corona and give up on something else that we should have, taken. It was interesting that way to just provide a bigger full picture view of how we measure our success. Look at those two cuties. Oh my God.
That's what I say every day. Oh my God.
Hey, girls.
Hang on. I have the
Okay.
earbuds
No
so
problem.
they
Oh, no
cannot
problem.
hear
Oh,
you.
I can't
Okay,
hear.
good. No problem.
All
Scratch it. But I mean, I felt, I understand exactly what you're talking about, because when I got sick last month, my mentality was, it wasn't like, don't go to the doctor, but I was calling to go, but you can't get through because of all the things that are happening. And then when it got worse, and I'm still trying to get through, but my mind is like, oh, don't go to the emergency room, try to go here first. And then when ultimately got so bad that it's like, you know what, I can't, I have to go. And that's one of those things where your mind is, you're trying to be considerate to medically to something else, whereas you're not being considerate to your own self. And so what happens to you maybe gets worse than what it could have been if you had the opportunity just to go when you could go and get whatever you had to get done. And that's what I heard from a few doctors, that just exactly what Doug said, that, and people are not coming to the doctor or not calling up or not getting that regular appointment because they're thinking about all the COVID patients and patients who people are going back and forth. They don't want to go out or this, that, or the thing. And so that, like you said, that little tiny like heart attack or that pain has now tripled because they've allowed it to go too long. And then when they finally get in there, it's like worse than they could possibly imagine. So I see a lot of that happening, and people are talking about that, oh, I waited too long, I should have went, or I waited too long, I should have went, kind of thing.
That'll be the
That
next
kinda
metric
sucks.
that comes.
Yeah.
It's interesting because that happened to me. I guess about 8 months ago, I had this little skin discoloration. And as an esthetician, I know to look for skin cancer signs. And I kept watching it. And then it was changing. And I was like, I don't want to go in. I know the office is open, but I don't want to get COVID. I don't want to give. And this is pre-vaccination. And I ended up going, it was, precancerous cells. They took care of it. Thank goddess that everything's okay. But yeah, I'm right in that group of, I put myself last,
Right, at risk.
both out of fear to save my life, but I was risking my life at the same time.
Right.
And I struggled with that.
Right. Yeah, because it's a, especially when you're thinking, oh, it'll go over. It is something I can watch, and certain things are like what I had. I had to go. And it was like a minor surgery in my mouth that they had to do, and it was not pleasant and nothing, and something I may have avoided if I had went a week before. But such as it is. The COVID is, yeah. We're well, hopefully. I mean, you're saying in New York is open. California, they still have to wear masks in stores. Do they wear masks in stores in New York?
Yeah, well, it's up to the individual store owner. The major
Okay.
chains, Walmart, Target, other grocery stores say, no, you don't need a mask as long as you're vaccinated. And small business owners, which we support heavily here in Ithaca, all of them consistently are saying, no mask, no service. We love you. We love your money, but we want to stay alive and we want to keep our patrons alive as well.
Right. Because here, I don't think there's a store here that makes you wear a mask. Is there,
Really?
guys?
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah, not here.
No, there's no store that has any mandate to say you have to wear a mask when you come in. And it was so weird when they finally talked about, okay, maybe you should wear a mask, but let's do it during transportation hours between and when the high times of work hours. So like early in the morning, late in the afternoon, or in the evening. But I'm thinking it's when it's crowded, that's like all day long sometimes. So, and there are people who will just wear it during that daytime and then the rest of the day not wear it at all. And that's the only time that there's some kind of restriction involved in when we do or don't wear a mask. That's the
I was on the subway yesterday. It was packed and there was maybe 25, 30% people wearing masks. And I was actually shocked that it was that many. I thought it would be way less because I've been on this crowded subway before and it's like nobody's wearing masks.
How's the COVID situation in Sweden? Are the percentages still very high? How's the vaccination roll out?
Vaccination is pretty slow rollout. For Stockholm, it's gone okay. I live a bit north of Stockholm, and I live in an area that is like known as like one of the highest for infection rate, and it's also been one of the slowest to get the vaccine, just because of supply and demand. So I'm hoping we're gonna get vaccinated soon, but we're still waiting. Apparently they're gonna open up for us June 1st and go online and start booking appointments. But I'm sure those appointments are gonna go fast.
Yeah.
And which vaccine are you guys getting in Sweden?
That's a good question.
I've heard. My husband has Moderna. After I had gotten ill, they immediately called me, and once they finished medicating me, they were like, "You come in now," kind of thing. And I got Moderna as well. People are also getting Pfizer. So those are the only two that I've heard so far that are here, Moderna and Pfizer. But so many people don't want the AstraZeneca. But I know there are going to be areas in Sweden that will get it. I think even like where you are, Ryan, they might probably get Pfizer. Which
we told them to send the bad ones up north.
The bad ones are all going to South America, actually.
Get out. I mean, I don't know what. Because I know in the UK, I have friends in the UK, and a lot of them have gotten AstraZeneca, and with a variety of reactions. None to almost like a chemical mental imbalance, to the point where my friend of mine, he did not go for the second shot because he said it was like I guess if you're a drug addict and you're coming off or you're going cold turkey, he said emotionally he was a wreck. He was, anger came really quickly. It just up and down. He said he didn't know what the heck was going on. But his wife had it. She was okay. Friends, all of them fine. AstraZeneca. He did not do well with that. So
that's going to happen. There's going to be, outliers for whether it's a car accident, someone dies of the flu. I mean, there's always going to be these horror stories, and just sure that we're just following the science of the,
exactly.
Even taking aspirin, 1 out of 1 million people might, whatever.
Thank you. But they're not going to blame the aspirin. That's a bad part about it. I mean, now with this,
if they can have a class action suit or not.
It's like, this shot did it to me.
So I've gotten.
I'm sorry, Monster.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna tell you guys that I've gotten both shots, and I got the Pfizer one, And normally what I've heard around here is that people get reactions with the second shot, after the second shot.
Yeah.
Fever, to being completely, you know, sick on the couch for 3 days. So I was very scared. Not because of the reaction, but because, you know, my husband is in Afghanistan and I'm dealing with the kids by myself. I'm like, I cannot afford to get sick. Like, I have to keep going. Like, I don't have a choice. But I was very lucky. I had no reaction whatsoever with any of the shots. Like, I was like normal. I went to the gym. I went to work, like everything. So I'm like, thank you. And yeah, this week I'm taking my 15-year-old for her first shot as well, and she didn't have any reactions either.
Okay. Do they? Oh wow. 15.
Where is everybody, by the way? I missed that part. California, New York.
North, yeah.
I mean, okay, North California, and then we have New York, and then we have northern Sweden.
No, well, yeah, he's not that much north. He just sent stuff north. He ain't there.
North of Stockholm, and they're not very north.
All right.
My gosh. But yeah, but we all know that we're all going to either get the shot or getting the shot. We've gotten one shot. We've gotten both shots. And we're going to still do our social distancing. Yes, Doug.
No one's doing social distancing. I don't know what circles you're traveling in, but like, I just came from a brunch today. I was playing beach volleyball this morning. We were all hanging out. Nobody's even, I haven't seen a social distanced maneuver for a long time. And I came from the supermarket before this call, and it was packed. Nobody was staying out of anyone's way, and about 5 or 10% of the people were wearing masks.
And that's one of the silliest things. The Swedish authorities said, well, we don't recommend masks because masks give people a false sense of security. If they're wearing a mask, then they won't be socially distanced. But they're not being socially distanced anyway. Like, people are not keeping a distance or anything. The trains are still packed. The buses are still packed.
Yeah. It's like being at a Trump rally where everyone hates Trump.
I like that. That's good.
Kind of.
Well, I was saying that because the whole thing with the restrictions, I mean, the word restrictions doesn't exist in Sweden. So there were restrictions in the countries. There were recommendations in Sweden.
Recommendations.
So I said like America, like in the Corona, America was like the parent who says, if you touch the stove, I'll beat your ass. And Swedes were a parent who said, please don't touch the stove, or maybe not with both hands, or you do what you want. I'm not gonna. Who am I to tell you?
If you burn your finger, you'll learn.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Kinda. Maybe.
But here's the interesting thing. This is the biggest piece of the puzzle here that we don't understand, which is that Sweden hasn't done jack by restrictions or mask wearing compared to the other European nations. We're this crazy weirdo outlier, crazy uncle. Yet, if you look at all of the European countries, we're right in the middle of the death rate with all these other countries that have had huge restrictions and lockdowns and mask mandates and all this stuff. The thing I came from today was full of doctors at brunch. We were talking about this. Like, how the hell is it? Why aren't we off the charts by far the worst? And they're like,
compared to our immediate neighbors, we are far worse.
Yeah,
but it's compared to Europe. Yeah, Europe in general, yes.
The worst on the planet. Like, we should be like the highest on the planet, but like, we're not.
No.
What gives? How are we not the worst?
But is your lifestyle that much different from, say, in the States, where people are eating McDonald's and Fritos? You know, just to generalize, but I see it, and they eat like shit. This is a whole food chef talking. So, is there a correlation between lifestyle of activity and food intake and yada yada?
How dare you, Madigan? How dare you? Are you about to body shame now?
No.
Where do you get off?
I think I mean, Bill Maher was talking about this. Didn't you see Bill Maher's episode where he was talking about, like, why aren't we talking about weight as a bigger issue? And is that I would say that's possibly has something to do with it. People aren't crazy skinny here, but you could cast a beer commercial walking down the street in about 5 minutes.
Truly. Every day.
Yeah.
Every single day.
It's like I'm sure if you're out in like Beverly Hills or some parts of the US, it looks in a, similar, but it's like you're in a casting call for a bleach commercial as you walk down the street.
Wow.
Douglas, tell us how you feel. Come.
I'll just say this. It's a nice place to be dating. All I'm gonna say. I'm gonna be right back. I gotta run. My kids calling me for something. Give me like 2 seconds.
All right. But that's the weirdest thing about here, that, you know, like Ryan cited, there's no restriction. It's just like a recommendation. So we recommend that you do this. We recommend it. But the weird thing about it is they recommend the physical people, but the stores and stuff like that, well, when it came to restaurants and bars, that was their, like, what is that? Their indirect regulation, because bars had to stop serving alcohol at 8 or 8:30, restaurants as well, which means most of them closed at 8:30. They also lost a lot of business. They lost a lot. They had to cut down on half their employees, most of them, you know, the majority of their employees. And then, of course, they figured, okay, people aren't going to go out, and that will help the social distancing, and people will stay home. I'm like, yo, bro, there are parks and there's a liquor store there. Because that's the first thing I thought of. I said, you think that's going to stop people from drinking because you stopped the alcohol at 8:30? You just stopped them from drinking in the restaurants and bars.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
And
they're gonna then they're more willing to gather at home and do it, or go to a park, you know, and sit at the park, especially now that the weather's getting better and it's getting a little bit warmer, not much warmer, a little bit warmer here. You know, people aren't even thinking about that anymore. They're like, yeah, sure, okay, you close that bar at 8:30. You're gonna go over here next to the water in the park and drink, you know, kind of thing. So yeah.
I can only imagine the line at System Bolagen.
There is a line outside. They have to count you in. I was there with somebody one day and I'm like, what am I? And he was like, why are we outside? I was like, there's a line to go in. And he's like, really? Because I don't rarely go. And he was like, I said, they count to make sure people are distanced in the store, but it doesn't help. Yeah.
And that was one thing that CDC announced recently, was the whole thing about masks and inside.
Mm-hmm.
That if less than 100% of people inside are wearing masks, then masks are irrelevant. Doesn't matter how close you are or how far you are from each other. Air is circulating anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But I think we're all just have corona fatigue. I think we've had that for a long time.
Yeah.
I think we went from being like, okay, let's lock down for 2 weeks and now solve it. And that really just changed to, well, we're all going to get it at some point. So let's make it as slow as possible. I know, like for myself, like I still have not had it. I've been told I'm not cool because I have no antibodies. I've not been sick yet. I'm not worried about getting sick myself. I just don't want to give it to anyone else. Mm-hmm. That's been my biggest thing all along.
Even with the vaccinations, I understand that I'm protected very well, but I'm very scared of getting it. One of my sisters works in epidemiology down at the Presbyterian Hospital in New York City. And the horror stories that I've heard for, the past 14, 15 months really gave me a perspective that I think most people who are not in the thick of it in the medical field understand how bad it can get. And for super healthy people, like I could easily, with my healthy lifestyle, contract COVID and have serious complications or die. And my sister scared the bejesus out of all of us telling us these stories. That's why I'm like, just stay away. I want one of those big pool noodles and put it on my head so that people will stay far away, either side. I mean, that's—
I've never heard of the noodle tip. That's a—
I was really attractive. I'm so hot. Oh my God.
I think there's the biggest fuck up in this whole thing. Genuine world-class, millions of people killing fuck up is that in April of last year, they had already taught dogs in Finland with between 94 and 100% accuracy how to detect for COVID by sniffing a patient, 5 seconds, sniff their hand, and could cost 13 cents a test with a 5-second immediate reaction. And they could do it before people were symptomatic. So like 3 to 5 days before they could get a positive test. So way better than a PCR test. We could have had them in front of elderly homes, at hospitals, in airports. We could have kept society open at schools. Doctors wouldn't have had to quarantine. Like we could have kept society largely open. Testing everywhere. And the WHO knew about it because I interviewed this professor of veterinary medicine in Helsinki who did it. I spoke to her myself because this blog thing I was going to do. And she's like, she was speaking to WHO and they were like, she just got this feeling that because there was no pharmaceutical giant behind it pushing it, or a little device thing with big money to make out of dogs, it takes between 2 days to train a police dog that's already like sniffing for drugs. It takes 2 or 3 days to train them to sniff for COVID. And then a normal dog is like 2 to 3 months. But like all these out of work people, we could have put them to work at us hospitals and stuff with their dogs. Like we do this for the military. I mean, we have a national call up when this many people are being killed. Why didn't we just go for it? I mean, especially with different strains coming out and making people feel at ease, and just being able to test people so they feel better getting onto airplanes. Yeah. You could have had a test to walk into the airport before you got on the plane, and then you got out at the next airport, and then again at the hotel. You could have had 4 tests, and we could have kept international travel open. Like, it's insane. What a major epic miss. Super cheap, super easy, and we knew about it over a year ago, and we did nothing.
Because it was too cheap, too easy.
I mean, they're using dogs in Dubai. They're using dogs in Mexico, Chile, Germany, but in very limited ways. They're using them at the Miami Heat basketball game at the NBA to bring in the public in a very limited way. But I mean, they're being used and it's successful, but it's so small, like 1/1,000,000% is being used. We could have kept everything open. It's so crazy.
I know this is going to sound weird, but you reminded me of a movie, and I am not a zombie movie person. I cannot. I'm like, oh, another zombie movie. What's going to happen in this one? That's my mentality for these. This is at the beginning of the zombie movies, and there was one with Brad Pitt called
World War Z.
World War Z.
World War Z, and that to me was one of the more interesting zombie movies, for the fact that they smelled when someone was sick and did not touch them.
Yeah, or the birds in the Sandra Bullock movie with the box of birds, whatever.
Yes.
Thing.
Yeah. And I'm like
the dogs could have been the heroes.
Yeah, because I'm like, we could have had zombies now.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I know.
Oh yeah, okay. Now we're going to change to a much lighter subject. You must tell them the names of these dogs.
Okay. This 5-pound wonderkind is Kaiju, because he is indeed a scary monster. And this is Matt, which is Japanese short for Matsuru Katsuke, which means dust bunny.
That's so cute.
My
Hey,
kids
Dwayne, I have to drive my kid soon. I found out, so I'm gonna have to jump off soon. She needs a ride, and her boyfriend's here, and this is my chance to be a real father. It doesn't happen very often.
Stop it! It's a lot.
Teenagers don't need you. All I do, my role as a father, is to just swish mobile phone money to kids when they rarely need me for anything. So
Brian, is that your job?
Right.
Is that the job?
I can relate. My daughter turns 17 this summer, and I can sort of relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they never need you. So when they actually need you, it's like, wow.
Yeah, 15 to 23. That's going to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in that range. I have 15, 16, and 20. So, like, I feel you.
Yeah.
And I think this is really cool, and you guys are awesome. And I would love to sit around and keep doing this, but I have to put on my parent super cape and swing into action.
Put on your papa hat and do your thing.
I hope to see you again. I don't know how this works. I don't know if I'll ever get an invite if I ditch early, but whatever.
You will get another invite. You will come to redeem yourself.
Nice to meet you, Douglas.
Pleasure.
Nice to meet you. Take care.
You
Nice Bye.
Bye. His daughter has a voice.
Yeah.
She can sing her butt off. All right, but really, I didn't think that. Well, maybe teens. Are you just like a money suitcase there, Ryan?
Hopefully more than that, but I try.
You try your darndest, and that's a good thing. I know Montserrat. She's like,
26 and they still call me for money. What? You have you own a house. You're a grown-up adult. Leave me alone. I'm like, I need some money.
get out. Poor things, poor things.
Yeah, poor things. Okay. I feel so bad for them.
Yeah, see, there you go.
I'm like, do your knees hurt every morning when you wake up? Mine do. So therefore, I do not feel bad for you. You are young and, impenetrable.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's very true. Though you're actually right. I can stick with you. All right, I have right now, because I always pull out little things now with that people can talk about, and this is more so like a would you rather kind of situation. Okay, and you just debate which one you would rather be in situation, and you can even discuss why. And mine's are, well, not mine are, but the two are: would you rather get stuck at your job with your fellow staff for a week, or get stuck in a movie theater with strangers for a week? Now, let me just make sure it's not going to be some mall movie theater. I'm talking about the old time movie theaters. It's just the movie theater. That one theater, popcorn maybe out there, kind of old, doors closed. You are stuck there. Which one would you rather be in? Which situation?
I'm gonna go with coworkers, only because I started this job about a month and a half ago, and there are maybe 30 people in the office, and I've met 3 of them so far, because everyone's working from home, so we don't actually see each other or anything. So I think that might be a good chance to actually get to know each other.
So you'd rather be stuck with them for a whole week?
Yeah, that'd be all right. Devil,
Jermaine, I know what your answer is. Dang.
No, I mean, you got to think about your staff. That's kind of thing. Montserrat?
Definitely my coworkers, not because I know them better, but because if I'm stuck for a week, I'll be more comfortable in the office where I can take a nap. I can use the bathroom. I'm sure I have snacks in the fridge or in my drawers. So.
And they better last for a week.
Yeah. So I'm thinking the whole picture. I'm like, just sitting there, and I get.
No. I mean, you can get up and go to the bathroom. You can go to the snack bar.
So I'm like, where am I gonna sleep? Because I'm big about my sleep. So I'm like, in the office, I can definitely.
They got these bouncy chairs. They got the rocky chairs in the movie theater.
Oh, that kind of? No, you said old school movie theater.
I meant old school, meaning not like a mall, not like there are 10 or 12 theaters in the place.
Okay.
Just one.
When we lived in Indonesia, I'm gonna shift a little bit. So you could book the premium or whatever it was called, movie theater rooms where they have recliners. You open a drawer and you pull a blanket. It was like,
oh, wow.
You had a menu to order, and there will be like a guy bringing you drinks and food. We're like, I will always fall asleep because I was so comfy. We'll have like full meals.
I don't know.
So I'm like, that movie theater or the movie theater you described? I'm like, no, I'll take The Office. So that was my movie theater experience in Indonesia.
I didn't know about that one.
FYI, yep. For like $20 too. Don't think we were paying like a lot of money. So yeah, movie theater in Sweden or in Indonesia? I need more details.
Okay, I did not know about Indonesia. I didn't know y'all had it like that. I mean, because okay, fine. Indonesia. Kind of jealous now. Natty.
I'm my own coworker. I think I would choose a movie theater because I haven't peopled regularly in so long. And we're assuming this is a fantasy world where there's no COVID. So no, I would have a blast with a bunch of strangers in the movie theater. Oh man, we'd get into some shenanigans. I would be sure of it.
See, and because I work by myself as well, I would go for the movie theater. I would be in the movie theater with the strangers and just making new friends.
Great.
In that bouncy chair. Now, Miss Indonesia, let me tell you something. Now I know there are theaters here that have, I don't know, they have it that luxurious, but I know over in town, because I went there with a friend of mine for his birthday. It was a bunch of us. We went in a group, and he goes, "No, we're gonna go up and sit in the I don't know, whatever level." And I'm like, okay. I had never been up there before. And like you said, the chairs were like a little more room, and they were like really nice and cushiony, and you had a table in front of you, and you had like other snacks. I was like, I have never experienced this kind of thing before in a theater ever. I think I am it's like going to business class and thinking I can never do coach again. I can't.
Exactly.
That's one thing that I adore about Swedish movie theaters is assigned seating. I love that so much because in the States, if you're going to movies, premiere of the movie, it's a sold out show. And for the first 20 minutes of the movie, there are people walking around trying to find like, oh, we got to find 4 seats together. They're still walking around, milling around. Sweden, assigned seats is fantastic. I love that.
True. You're absolutely right. Now, okay. Now that you put it in that perspective, fine. I did not have that feeling when I first came here. I was like, what? I can't sit anywhere. Oh, why do I have to have an assigned seat? But you know,
not American. Oh my God.
It's like, ugh.
Wait, I thought every movie theater everywhere was assigned seats. Like, where is it not assigned?
Anywhere in America?
What? I haven't been to the movie theater here in so long, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's you get you go walking around trying to find a seat. Yep.
Well, that's messy because if you're in a group of people, like, how are you gonna sit together? Or if you're just with your kids.
You don't come 5 minutes before the film gonna start. That's what you don't do. And I'm not talking about kids. It's usually never like I've never seen like families with kids who majorly have that problem. It's like a lot of adults who have waited, and there's like 5 or 6 of them, and they're like, "Where you find a seat over there? And 4 over here. Okay, 4 of us can sit here, 2 of y'all can sit over there." That is what you hear screamed across the theater. And then we have here we have like at least 15 minutes of commercials before even the movie starts. So if the movie starts at 6:20, it says 6:20, it's starting at like at 6:35, 6:40, because there are like 15 minutes of commercials.
Yeah, they have that in the States now too.
Chit chatting. And then someone comes out and talks to us on the stage and says, "Thank you very much for being here." Points to where you go out the bathroom, points to where the trash is, tells you about turning off your phone, and they say, "Okay, thank you," and then they walk off.
It's like a flight attendant, but for movie theaters.
Kind of, yeah.
Like the exits and
Exactly. And speaking of flying, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was going on a business trip, and he had to go on it, and it was his first flight that he had taken, and he was like, he's totally prepared. He had the mask and everything else, and he was actually kind of antsy about the whole flight because of the fact that having to wear a mask on a plane flight. Because then I had to think about it. I was like, okay, that to me is worse, because even though you have on a mask, the air up there is the same air circulated. It's not like a window's open to get other air. It's the same air circulation. So I didn't say that to him out loud, but he was already jumpy, so I didn't. But I thought about it afterward. I mean, he made it, where he had to be, and it was okay. But it was, but he was like, I did it. And it was okay, but it was only like a 4-hour flight. I mean, I'm thinking an 8-hour flight, a 9-hour flight. How would you feel about that?
Last year, last year around this time, I had come every summer. I go visit my family in the U.S. But last year I thought, okay, I wasn't working, and also because of Corona, I'm clearly not going anywhere. And I kind of just made peace with the fact that I was going to the U.S. And then my mother, who had been battling cancer for a few years, her diagnosis suddenly got accelerated. So she had very little time left. So I went to the U.S. with my daughter. We bought tickets at the last minute and flew over. And we flew, so we had to connect through Copenhagen. And it was a 5-hour layover in Copenhagen. So I had to wear a mask the entire flight. the entire time we were in Copenhagen, and then the 8-hour flight from there to the US. And it wasn't that bad, but we bought like these like cheap disposable masks. And by the end of the flight, I mean the cord had like dug into back of my ear. My ears were like all cut up.
Mm.
And also, I've not worn a mask for a long period of time before. I didn't realize I should have been thinking about what I ate. So in Copenhagen, I bought a sandwich of like this, like it was like a salmon, it was like a creamed salmon sandwich.
Oh.
My breath, you could see my breath by the time it got landed. My brother picked me up at the airport, and I took the mask off, and he just went, oh, it was foul. So for now, I'll keep that in mind next time. We're actually hoping to fly this summer. We haven't decided yet for sure, but we're hoping we can, because I'm U.S. and Swedish citizen. So there's nothing I can fly back and forth. The only downside, though, is that since it's recommended, again, that you don't fly to the U.S., my home insurance here in Sweden won't cover if I get corona in this. Like if I get corona in the U.S. and need medical care, or my insurance won't cover it because you're told not to go.
Right.
So that's the gamble. So we're still kind of thinking about it if we're going to go or not.
I think I'll need a Valium and a shot of tequila when I start flying again, because I'm still going to be a little antsy.
Be wiping off everything, wiping off the handles and the tray.
I'll have a spray bottle of bleach.
I mean, it is filtered air, though. So I'm curious how big the risk really is. I mean, I know the airlines take it really seriously, but then when you eat, then you don't, like, you have to wear a mask all the time except when you eat.
Mm-hmm.
So when everyone gets their food, they all take their masks off. But when we did fly last summer, I mean, there was like no one near us. There were so few people on the plane that it didn't matter.
Yeah, but now I think after that they started packing people on like sardines. At least in the States, they were doing that. They started packing people even last year. Like, that middle seat meant nothing. There's going to be a butt in that seat. Because they're trying to recoup their money and doubling their prices, which is utterly crazy. I mean, I was looking at hotel fees in the UK, and the initial prices, like for May, I was like, okay, that sounds normal. But into July, it was like 3 times the price. And I looked at the same hotel room. Why? What is going on? You're nice, but you're not that nice. This is ridiculous. I understand. And it's a big thing. I understand people businesses are trying to recoup, but this is not the way to do it, because
it's at the cost of human life or human safety, and I think that's reprehensible. This is where my little rebel comes out and says, screw money, we just need to trade chickens and we'll all be fine and go on the barter system and we can get rid of this evil money thing because it costs lives, yada, yada, yada. It just makes me really angry to think about that.
Madigan, what would you be doing if you weren't doing what you were doing now, being an esthetician, and what would you be doing?
Well, I've retired from massage and aesthetics. That's why I'm doing the whole food chef. What would I be doing? I'd be on a stage. I'd be in the movies. I think if I had ever gotten over my stage fright, which is quite severe, I probably would have gone into performance of some sort. Not sing. Definitely, you don't want me to sing.
I heard you sing. I remember.
It's not bad. It's not you.
Carry a tune.
It's not you. But I think I'd be a performer. I mean, I am. I'm the star of my own show every day. But I don't.
She has been this way since elementary school.
Really, I was born coming out of the womb. Ta-da!
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, Montserrat.
Do you guys know each other from childhood?
Yeah. How old was it? Mrs. Ruther's class? 4th or 5th grade? I thought it was 4th grade.
It's 4th grade.
So it was Ruther. Yeah.
4th grade.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
I have to run to get my charger, but I can still hear you guys.
Okay. Yeah, 4th grade.
Yeah, you still like touching my freckles. And I used to pay
I remember.
arm. I was like, oh my God.
There's so many.
Look at
I've never seen someone so freckled in my, you know,
It
I mean,
has-
I was fourth grade. How many people did I cross who got that many freckles?
Right?
Now I'm curious, is touching a ginger's freckles the same as touching a black person's hair? Is it?
No, it's not. Mostly because I ask. This
But
is
I
the
didn't ask you because Jermaine was the most exotic child I had ever seen, because I grew up in this extreme.
that's how I was to white people in fourth grade. I was exotic,
Right?
damn it.
I never really sat next to a black person before, and she comes in, I'm like, oh my God, she's beautiful. And all I could do was I would pet her skin. Yep. My mom got a note home, Jermaine. Do you know that? The teacher sent home a note saying that I was petting your skin and you were petting my skin. And somehow she thought that this wasn't right. And my mom's like, what's the problem? They're getting to know each other because they're different colors. What's the big deal? Why are you making a deal out of this? And I think it was Mrs. Ruther was kind of like, oh, I don't know. It just didn't seem right. And we're like, oh, look at these. And I'm like, oh, look at your hair. You wouldn't let me touch your hair, though. You remember your hair?
Yes, I do remember.
You were like, nope.
Nope.
No hair.
I'm still the same way. Nope. No, but I mean, then I mean, this is like, yeah, this was a time of like all that integration. So I was bussed out into Little Neck, New York, and which is like 45 minutes by a school bus, 45 minutes, something like that. So, you know, people, and it wasn't as if, you know, it's like, ooh, white people, you know, never seen them, seen tons of them. Freckles is a whole different thing. But yeah, but it was a big thing for the area because of said the whole integration thing. It hadn't been something that was going to be doing that. That was the first time.
It was you and Rodney Jones. Those were the first two black.
Right, Rodney Jones.
Yep, Rodney Jones. He taught me a dirty song. Oh, I'll never forget that. I still sing it in my head sometimes.
I'm thinking I want to know, but I'm like, ooh, I don't know.
Yes, I don't know if y'all want to hear it.
Do we want to hear the dirty song that Rodney sang?
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to hear you sing. So
no, it's really not that good, especially right now. Nothing would be finer than to be in her vagina in the morning. I swear to God, since fourth grade, there's like 40 plus 50. Many moons ago, when I had even more freckles.
There you go.
I will wake up at 3 a.m. I cannot kid you on this. Nothing would be finer than to be in her vagina. I'm like, what? Rodney Jones, why are you in my head? Go away. Rodney with the shaved head. Remember Rodney really well. Yeah.
Yes, these are just shenanigans that went on when we were young. And it went on all the way up to high school because we went to junior high and high school, both of us. But we never got in trouble. We never got arrested. We were fine.
Not together. No, we didn't ever get arrested together. You're right.
Together. Okay. I like the together part.
I never got arrested. Hi, Maddie. What's going on in your life that I didn't know about?
I was going to a dead show in Canada and I didn't clean out my luggage like I should have. These little mushrooms they found. And I got arrested. And they let me go because it was my birthday show. And I put on this huge act. I was with my husband and we weren't married at the time. And they found them and I totally forgot about them. And I looked at my man. I was like, how dare you borrow Davey's luggage? That fucking stoner, I can't believe. Put on a show. And they were like, well, since you were so upset and obviously didn't know I was in there, blah, 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 blah. We'll let you go. We'll release you, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, that's my story.
Wow.
Yeah, I was scared. I was like, oh, fuck. Now I gotta call my parents. What am I gonna tell them? Yeah, it all turned out well. And we got to the Dead show in time. I got to see my birthday Grateful Dead show.
Well, thank gosh for that.
Well, you know, small miracles.
as I said, I got arrested. Ryan, have you been arrested?
No, I love the part of the story. What would I tell my parents? Well, you went to a dead show and did drugs. Wow, I'm sure they would have been shocked.
And then I'd have to call them for money, and there was a good chance my father would have said, "Fuck you."
This is true.
He would have. So yeah.
This is true. Your mom would have wanted more explanation, and then she would have said that.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, the colorful life that we have had.
Yeah, really, that's only one story. Holy cow.
Ryan, you weren't raised in New York. You were in Jersey?
South Jersey, yeah.
You were in Jersey. I know nothing about South Jersey at all.
It's the nice part. It's the nice part of the state.
Okay.
Like New Jersey is a running joke to everyone in the world because of North Jersey, because it's a cesspool up there. But South Jersey is quite nice.
You've got corn.
That's right.
Jersey corn, man, super sweet, yum yum.
Yeah,
Really?
That's the main reason to go to Jersey, and that's the main reason we visit every summer is the Jersey corn. So it's corn and then family. No, sorry, it's corn, beach, family. Yeah, and that
My God. See, the only thing I remember about Jersey is when I was driving from the South or from Virginia or something like that, and if I was in the car, I would know exactly when I got into New York, because then there'd be a ton of potholes. Oh, we're out in Jersey. We're off the Jersey Turnpike. We're in New York now.
Very true.
That was like the main thing. You didn't even have to open your eyes. You knew, what's all these bumps? Oh, we're in New York now. Okay. Off the Jersey Turnpike. But I never frequented New Jersey except the Turnpike to pass through and go to other places. I've never went there, so I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I've had friends who visited Jersey from other states who give me a hard time because you can't turn left in Jersey.
No.
You can never turn left. If you want to make a left, you've got to take at least 3 jug handles to make that happen.
So it's almost like these rondellen, the rondellens here, like kind of thing.
Yeah, we did circles. Where I live was like circle heaven. There was a circle every few miles, and now they're taking the circles away and put in the roundabouts, put in the interchanges instead.
Oh wow! I think we still have traffic lights in my neighborhood. A lot more cars. A lot more. Have you noticed when you go back to your old neighborhood that everything seems smaller? The block, the house, the street, everything. I went on my block. I was like, first of all, don't remember it being this small. Second, all these cars. And then I even got to go into my house because the people who bought it came very friendly with my mom at the time. And at the time when it got sold, I had come back from Sweden. I was there. So I went back just to say hello. And, she was like, oh, come look in the house. And I'm looking and I'm like, we actually lived here in this house. And it feels so much smaller than it did. And it was a big house. But being there then, I was like, this looks so small.
Yeah, I was just down in New York City visiting my mom last week. And I had the same experience.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, it seems so much bigger. And moving away, we've been up here 17 years now. And although we frequented visiting New York City, I haven't been down there in 2 years. Mm-hmm. So it was really interesting how even that short amount of time, your perspective changes. Oh, wow, different. Too many cars.
So where's the first place everyone's going to travel to, aside from their hometown?
Costa Rica.
Okay, you just went big.
I
don't know where I went.
Not me either. My wife and I were lucky. We went to Prague last year, like right before they locked everything down.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that was a nice trip. We haven't traveled very much, and I've never been to Prague before, so that was cool. Went for like a long weekend.
Did you go to the beer house thing where they do the beer?
We didn't go to any brewery, but we drank a lot of beer. At least I did. I'm more a beer fan. You get like a stein like that big. Yeah.
And it has to be a certain temperature for you to drink it?
Maybe.
I got all these details when I got there. They would like, the beer has to be this particular temperature when it gets, because then it's at its peak and the flavors. And I'm like, is it cold? Oh, is it cold?
I had absinthe there with dinner. They had a place that they serve absinthe at the restaurant, so of course I had to get that. And then flying home, to come home, I bought absinthe to bring with me back. That's kind of fun. But one of them actually is infused with marijuana, and I wasn't sure how popular that would be at customs. But in Sweden, customs is they look at you and yep, you're fine.
What
Sure.
now? You said marijuana?
Yeah, fair.
Don't do any of that. No.
I heard it just got legalized up there, Meg.
Yeah. Yeah, they're still working out the details of how much you can have, how much you can grow at home.
Euphoria.
Yeah.
I bet it is.
Hi. So there's trying to figure out, how they're going to sell it. Like, we don't have any dispensaries or anything open yet, which I can't wait for. Being able to go in and, it's not like when you're in Colorado and stuff and you go into dispensaries, people know their shit. It's not like a bunch of Grateful Dead stoner, like, hey man, here's a joint. You can go in saying, oh man, I have arthritis in my knee and it's really killing me.
Mm-hmm.
Or I need something that'll relax me, but not knock me out, maybe make me a little social. And you have people who know their strains inside and out. And then we talk about terpenes and the scents. It's almost like food, which is why I love it. It's multi-level. You can enjoy it to get high, but there's so much more to the experience of taste and smell and even the texture of the actual weed. So, sorry. Yeah, I like it.
Well, the overall attitude in Sweden is so strongly anti-marijuana. It's one of my absolute favorite things to see when a comic is visiting from the U.S. or anywhere else, come to Sweden, and they haven't done the research. So they're just on stage and it's going well, they're doing their thing, and then they'll just say like, "Oh, so I was smoking weed the other day. You guys are European, you must love the weed," and you just feel the whole room go,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
They're even talking about legalizing psilocybin mushrooms in the U.S., in New York specifically.
they have in Portland. They have in Portland for sure.
Yep.
Really?
Things to look forward to. Yay!
No,
There's
I
COVID,
went.
but you can get shrooms. Whee!
No, I didn't have any. Okay, let me rephrase that sentence. When I was in Colorado, I had a friend, her son, he worked in a dispensary. So I got the chance to go there and check it out. And like you say, they know I have no clue about nothing. I didn't even ask any questions. And he was like, what do you want to do? I don't know. I just, but they went through this, literally, like she said, this whole discussion of the leaf and the stem and how it's grown and the moisture level it has to be. And with that moisture level, how it's ground up, what it's used for. They had tons of medicinal creams that are used, because there were a lot of people in there who used it literally for medicinal. There was a guy in there who was talking about his what is that? The rheumatitis. Rheumatitis, is that the word?
Rheumatoid arthritis.
Rheumatoid, there, because I was thinking of it in Swedish and English, and it just wasn't
Rheumatism, I think you're thinking of.
Rheumatism is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Thank you. And he talked to us about why he uses it, and there was a cream. And at the time, I had just got off the plane. Now, mind you, the plane I was on was empty as crap. This is like a few years ago. Empty. I came off that plane with a pain in my back that affected my whole leg. And I'm like, but I have the whole row. How do I come off the plane with pain? And he had a cream. He'd had it at home already. He goes, no, I have an ointment at home. I'm like, okay. And that ointment, within 15 minutes, pain gone.
Yeah.
Pain gone. It was, it didn't, it had a kind of an odor that faded, but it just away, did not come back. And I was like, I want to take that home with me. I want a big jug. But it was so funny because when I was leaving, I got politely searched. It was like, okay, we found something in your bag. And I'm thinking, what's in my bag? There's nothing in my bag. And what it was I had forgotten. I had bought some pumpkin coffee espresso thing, and I thought I put it in my suitcase, and it showed up in my handbag. And so they were like, "Can you just stand right here?" They were so pleasant, nothing like New York. They're like, "Over there, blah blah blah." No, they were like, "Can you just stand over here, honey, for 1 minute? We're just gonna look in this bag because we just kind of saw some on the detector. Just stand right here, it'll be all right." And the guy comes over, he goes, "Okay, ma'am, we're just gonna check your bag. I'm gonna take it right over here. Is that okay?" And I'm like, "Okay," kind of thing. And then he took it out. He said he took it out what it was, and I went, "Oh crap!" And I literally, like, I said, I told him I thought I put it in my bag because it said it. All the label was on and everything. So he said, "Okay, but I'm just gonna have to test it." And I was like, knock yourself out, because it hadn't been opened. And he tested it. He goes, "Okay," and he sealed it more because I think it was kind of open somewhere. And I said, "Okay." He put it back in my bag. He's like, "You have a nice flight." Okay, bye.
That's a nice experience. That's nice.
It was a very nice experience, opposed to when I go to New York and I watch that loveliness happen. Ooh,
So you were lucky they didn't take it from you and throw it away.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do here. They just take it and like, boom.
Really?
Sorry.
I mean, but he tested it. It wasn't anything, untoward. So I'm thinking, okay, thank you. Get my baggage and go. So, I mean, but no, I think I want to go. There are a few places I want to go. I actually, close by, I want to go to Lithuania, and then to the UK, and then to Italy and Hawaii. And
any places you don't want to go?
Jersey.
Don't want to go Jersey. No, I'm cool. I even like New York is. If I didn't have my family and friends and relatives there, New York would be really low on the totem pole.
Why Lithuania?
Because I have friends in Lithuania and I want to go see them. Because they're like, "Oh, we're here," and I'm like, "Great!" It was right before COVID, and I was like, "Yes, I'm gonna go." Boom, and I was like, "I can't go."
I love how you say close by. Like, I'm gonna go to Italy because it's close by. Lithuania. Fuck you, bitch. You know how long I have to fly to get to Italy?
And that's why I say they're close by. There's only there's a 2 hour, 4 hours. When I go to New York, that's like what, 8.5 hours.
Yeah.
Not including the layover wherever I go, which I usually go through British Airways. So I'm usually at Heathrow. They know me there. No. Yeah, but I mean, everything is close by when you're here in this, like the travel point here in Christmas time is the Canary Islands. Everybody goes Canary Islands or Thailand, and Thailand ain't close. Okay. I've been to Thailand. That's far. That's how many hours? Like 8, 9? I don't know.
It's about 9 hours. Yeah. I was there once.
It's far. And they go there to melt. I tell you, melt.
Really?
It's beautiful. But it's beautiful. It's inexpensive. It's beautiful, beaches, the atmosphere, which bugged me out because the people, they went there, they go there on the, in those holiday times. And a few years ago, when we had like 2 weeks of like incredibly hot weather, it was like at least above 30. That doesn't happen here. It was like 30 plus, like dead in the afternoon. And they were like, "Oh my God, it's so hot. Blah, blah, blah. Why? I can't take it." You could take Thailand and you can't take this. I know why I'm complaining. I left this. I didn't come here for this. But they're like, "Oh my gosh. Yeah." I said, "It's only 2 weeks. 2 weeks you have to deal with this at the most. And then it breaks. Yeah. And then it goes down to like 22.
But there's one thing Swedes love more than anything else. It's complaining about weather. Like you'll never hear this. This is the standard format of conversational here in Sweden. It's really nice today, but there's always a but. It's like, oh, but it's too windy. It's not windy enough. It's too cloudy. I actually heard a Swede say once, we had a gorgeous summer, and after taking a month off of work, which I'll have that too. First day back in the office, I heard 2 guys talking about the summer. One said, "Wow, that was an amazing summer." And the other guy said, yeah, but I get a little tired of the sun. It's too sunny. It could be an Olympic sport. Swedes would win the gold for complaining about weather. They always, it makes them happy.
Didn't know that.
Do you guys remember in 2018? So that will be 3 summers ago, the heat wave in Sweden. So we were there, and I just had my little one. She was born in Sweden. Sorry. And it was so hot. And I remember being at the hospital in Dunderin, no air flowing. I'm like, I'm so hot. I'm so hot. Like, what's going on? But I thought it was, I don't know, the meds, the whatever they put in me, right, for the C-section. So then we went home with a baby, no air conditioner in Sweden. We couldn't buy just a regular fan because they were sold out. Portable AC. You couldn't get it anywhere. And I'm like, oh my God. And I will talk to my family. I'm from South America, and my friends, they were like, oh, the baby. I'm like, it's so hot here. Like, really? You're from South America, you're complaining about heat? I'm like, you understand, in Paraguay, we have air conditioners everywhere. Mm-hmm. Like, you cannot survive without AC. There's no AC here. Like, I can't take this. I'm like,
oh my God.
Exactly.
It was crazy.
Exactly.
And my mother-in-law, my mother-in-law flew to help us, and she lives in Alaska. So she was like, I know, she's like, what is going on here in Sweden? Go potty, go. So yeah, that was, sorry. Go potty.
That's great.
Yeah, so I remember that summer in Sweden. I'm like, this is insane. I'm in Sweden. I should be like cold all the time.
Mm-hmm. Ryan, what were you going to
say? The Swedish government actually offers free Swedish lessons to immigrants. Some people actually qualify for getting paid to go Swedish lessons. I got for free, so I just went for that. I moved here in 2006, and that summer was one of like the best summers I've experienced in this country. It was most beautiful weather, was warm. But yeah, Sweden doesn't do air conditioning. Nope. So in the classroom in August, with people from all over the world, and not every culture has the same deodorant feeling.
Oh
like,
my God.
So you don't want to judge other cultures. But I was like, during the break, I'll just put my head out the window just to get some, because you could taste the air.
Oh, no. See, you're going to left that little part of that description out. Oh. But I concur. Because I remember going to my SFE classes, and yeah, a couple of them were like in July, or maybe a couple in August. It was warm, and everyone does not have the same hygiene practices. You know, so I mean, some people are like, and even with work, with massage, even people there do not have the same hygiene or practices. So you might have someone who's showered, but they just don't use deodorant. And you can always tell when someone has showered. You can literally smell it on the body that they've showered. But I remember vividly having a client, it's at the beginning, and she had come from the gym directly. She did not shower.
Ew.
And that time of the month. Oh. And she smoked.
Oh. Oh no. Oh no.
Now when you talked about you can taste the smell, because it was like it was at the beginning, and at first I didn't know what, you know, like I'm like, what am I smelling? You know, and I'm like, oh man, she didn't shower. And then all of a sudden the other smell hit. I was like, oh. The smoke smell was the good smell. The smoke coming out of her pores was like the treat for me, because the other two smells were like, and I already started, I couldn't stop. And I was like, oh God, what should I do? I'm like, okay, I only got like 15. She was late anyway. So I only had like 10 minutes. I'm like, I'll just grin and bear this moment. And I did it, got done with it, called my job. I was like, look, you need to inform every single company that we work for that when they are going to get a massage, they need to shower if they have gone to the gym. At least.
Well, your fellow massage therapist is feeling for you.
Oof.
I love Richard Pryor. Pryor had a story told about being in Africa and picking up a hitchhiker. So some native, he described him as an original black, blue black. He said.
Oh.
Pick up this guy on the side of the road, and he said the guy's smell was so thick, like it was like making his eyes water, like he was gonna be sick. But then hitchhiker had stopped, asked to have the car stop because hitchhiker, his eyes were watering because he couldn't stand like all the cologne, all the deodorant, everything else. That was all killing him.
Oh yeah. I mean, it works both ways. It does work both ways in that particular matter. But I mean, it's literally, especially when you travel, it's just something like, okay, this is something I just have to get used to right now. Mm-hmm. But in my little bubble, things have got to be my way, or at least
it's
like
a non-stinky bubble.
A non-stinky bubble. I mean, certain things you tolerate. It's like, oh, okay, that. But the showering thing, man.
Oh my God.
When we were in Indonesia, it smelled everywhere. Like you're walking down the street, smells like sewage, garbage everywhere. You getting into a taxi, everybody smokes. It's very hot all year round. It's right on the equator line, Jakarta, the capital. So it's always hot, same temperature. But I was pregnant there too with the other girl that you guys saw. So I'm like, this is the worst place to be pregnant. And all the food they eat, I'm like, I feel sick all the time. I will get into taxis, and I always had like my hand sanitizer. And I'm like, I had to smell that in order not to feel sick. I mean, pregnant or not pregnant, it's like always have something to smell. And also even though it's very hot, their personal hygiene habits are not the highest. So it's just like bad.
And the worst smell I have around here right now is I live in a rural area. So every now and then we get manure. That's about it. And then it goes away. Everyone else showers. My chickens even smell nice. It's all right.
Yeah, chickens?
I have chickens. I now have 3. I had 6. We have a fox lurking in the woods.
And now you have 3.
We have chickens.
You have chickens.
I want to get a goat.
You want to get a goat.
I was told no, and my man does not tell me no. He knows better than to tell me no. But he put his foot down. He's like, no. He's a nice Jewish boy from Flushing. He's like, what the fuck? We got chickens. What do you need a goat? We're in the country. You need a goat. He's like, no, that's not a prerequisite. No.
Ryan, you want goats?
I'm good, thanks.
I like the contemplation. It was like, oh no. It's almost like you were kind of thinking about it. It's like, oh no, I can't do that.
No, I've got a cat. That's enough. I don't need any more than that.
You do?
Yeah. That's right.
Ah. I see. He wants to be in the room with you, but have his back to you.
Exactly right.
Because it's a cat.
Gosh.
Well, listen, guys, I got to bounce.
Cool. Well, no, I was actually getting ready to close up everything soon anyway. But I'm so glad that you guys came tonight. It's been a very relaxing evening. I really enjoyed everything here. Montserrat, I'm so glad you can get in here with all the kids running around, jumping at you. I was very proud. She was like, I'm here. And I'm like, okay.
Maybe more kids next time.
I think I have more kids.
Yeah, I said, I don't know how it's going to go with the little ones, but I'll give it a shot.
And it worked. Madigan, I'm so glad that you were able to come here with me today. And good to see you. It's been forever.
I know.
It's been forever. And
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. And just to be reminded about Maddie's Munchies. please look it up. They're in the description box. Manny's Munchies 1.wixit.com and everything else, all printed there in the descriptions. Mr. Ryan Bussell. Girls, he's got an XXX site. That way you get to see him with no hair on his face.
That's true. It is open to Americans. So yeah, that's true.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
No beard. But check out his websites and everything else. He's a really funny guy. I really appreciate you even being here. I appreciate all
Thank
of
you.
you guys being here with us today. And we will have, again, in 2 weeks, another Zooming in Comfort with a lot more people and a lot more fun and a lot more of this crazy conversation about really stinky people and where we're going and about where we're going to be in the next, hopefully, couple of months when the world opens up a little bit more and we get to travel some more. But I know you got, hopefully, Ryan, we'll start seeing more comedy on the stages here eventually.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So when that happens, I'll just do some videos and I can post them up. But until then, thank you all for coming to see Zooming in Comfort. I really appreciate and enjoy your presence. But until then, until our next time, and oh wow, I can't even find the things. Until next time, please have a good one and